Recording is in progress. And here we are, weekly Wednesday workshop, 3Ws. And I've been recently in my own studies, my own looking at things and that, there's been a lot of stuff around quietness and silence and stillness and entering into stillness and quietness. And how when we do that, we become more fully aware. I think Taoists would say we're living with presence, i.e., we're in the moment. And when we do that, there's countless accounts of both the Desert Fathers and the Celtic saints finding very, very remote, quiet places where they can go and be silent and still and listen for that divine guidance and wisdom. And all that stuff aside, just being still and allowing ourselves to be still and be quiet is therapeutically really good for us. Really relaxes the brain, releases pressure. And I'm going to share today several steps that, when combined, will lead, with a bit of practice, into that. And I know we've looked at meditation and different things constantly, and this is just a slightly different approach. But I think none of it, may I add, and I always say this, but I really mean it, none of it is going to be difficult. None of it's overtly challenged. Some of it might take a little bit of practice. Uh, but when that practice benefits you, then hey, why would you not? So this is, in some ways, it's an inward journey, slightly different to the kind of picture yourself here, there, and you're walking down to this, that, and the other, and all that type of inward journey, because this is very much self-directed. This is, I'm not going to take you on this journey. I'm going to teach you each step, and then you can practice it because it's very much an individual thing. The purpose of it is to connect us to that inner stillness, to deepen our awareness of the moment, and to help us find peace in the present moment, letting go of distractions. And for those of a more spiritual leaning, helping us discover that sacredness within. And it's not about perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about creating a space to just breathe, creating a space to just be, to reflect, to listen. That pause was added for dramatic effect. Anyway, each of these steps offers us a very gentle way to bring our mind and our body and spirit back into harmony, back into this present moment, empowering us to cultivate that presence in our everyday life. And what do we mean by presence? By presence, we mean being just fully aware, connected, and grounded in the here and now, free from distractions, not thinking about the past, not imagining the future, just open to the stillness and the wisdom of the moment, which can't be a bad thing. So, how, with only 2 pages of notes, I managed to get them in the wrong order, I do not know. But there you go. So we're going to go straight into this. We've got our first step, step one, stop. That's it. It's just stop. Stop what you're doing. Just put everything down and just for a moment, stop. I don't want you to practice this. just stopping. And there's a few ways we can do this. Literally, you could be working and you just choose to stop. You just go, right, put my pen down, my paper down, just stop. It only has to be, doesn't have to be for ages. Literally can just be for like 10, 20 seconds. But literally choose to just stop. I mean, just imagine as you're sat there now, just imagine being in a really busy street. Maybe it's like Christmas shopping time and there's noise and music and people and the footprints and breathing and talking and kids screaming and shouting, painting a beautiful picture of Christmas shopping there, I can tell. So you've got all this going on, but then just imagine on a really loud voice just shouting, "Stop!" And that whole street goes quiet. Everyone stands still, waiting for that next instruction. And now flip that. Focus that within. Imagine, even in this moment when you're listening to me, you're doing something. So let's just imagine for a moment that voice shouting, "Stop!" And just stop everything. Stop thinking, stop doing. Just create a moment of stillness, waiting for the next moment. There are a few things we can do to enhance this. If you're by yourself, you may choose to actually add a physical action into this. So whenever you're practicing stopping, you'll be like, "Stop." And you could do that. But obviously, you're not going to do that if you're in a cafe. Someone might think, "What's going on?" Or if you've got visitors, it might be seen a bit strange and weird. But if you're by yourself practicing this anytime, just stop. If doing the physical gesture, or you might just go stop, or you might, if slam your, I was going to do it, but it would make a noise and things would fall on the floor. You might drop your hand down on a surface to make that heuristic stop moment. Or you can imagine something in your mind. So you say stop, and maybe you imagine a big stop sign coming up. Maybe you imagine traffic lights flashing onto red, just quickly stop. Maybe you imagine, maybe you imagine the lollipop lady stepping out into the road with the sign, "Stop, children." Something that represents just stop to you. So what I'm going to ask you to do, just to get a quick idea and feel for this, is do something. Do something. Maybe just like moving your hands around a little bit and rocking about in your chair. Or maybe there's something in front of you on the desk. If you've got things beside you, you can maybe pick something up or just grab something, do something with your hands, be doing something. And then within a few moments, once I've shut up, keep doing that thing and then just create that moment where you go, "Stop." Picture it, see it, however you're going to do it, and just stop. Put whatever it is down, just sink into your chair, sink into where you are, and just stop. And once you've settled into that stop, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Give it a go now. And then just allow yourself to just focus in again. What are we doing here? So in the past, I'm sure we've talked about pattern interrupts. If you're going to join me on January for the hypnosis workshop, then you'll get a very real experience of how to utilize pattern interrupt, which once you've done it, you'll just be able to see how you can use it in so many aspects of life. Um, we're basically creating a divide, a break, a stop. We're interrupting the usual flow of things. Yeah. So if you imagine this, if you're feeling a bit stressed, you can feel that kind of that slight panicky feeling coming on because there's 101 things you've got to be doing. You can do this. Just stop and just create that break, create that interrupt in the general daily flow. When we do this, when we do it on a hypnotic level, we would create, and I've shown the handshake induction where you kind of look at look at the hands and do that. I'm sure I've shared a clip of that in the past. When you do that, you're creating that interrupt, you're creating that moment. And in the first few moments of interrupting the general flow and pattern of things, the mind is hugely open to instruction. So to create that moment of stop and then follow it up by giving yourself permission to just settle into doing nothing and take 3 deep breaths, you're signaling to your inner self, to your unconscious mind, that we're changing this now. We're making things different. So again, and you can practice this at any time, pretty well anywhere. Um, you're doing, stop. Stop thinking, stop doing, just put everything down for a moment, stop. And once you settle into that stop, that stillness, you just take 3 slow, deep breaths and really enjoy the moment. The next step is, you could call it like sitting in the moment or positioning yourself in the moment. And just imagine, just now as we're talking, just imagine what it would feel like, what it would be like if for the next few moments there was no need to engage in anything. I mean, what is that like for you? So positioning, sitting ourselves in the moment, no need to engage in anything. We've stopped, we've taken some breaths. Then we let go of the past. We don't recall the past. We don't think about the past. The past is past. We don't start imagining the future or thinking, oh, I've got to be doing this, I've got to be doing that. You're only imagining. So we don't think about the future. We don't imagine the future. We don't, we don't think. Absolute permission to just not think. Just create that moment. We don't examine, we don't judge, we don't analyze. Don't try and work things out. So you're not thinking about the past, you're not imagining a future, you're not consciously thinking. And that's not to say there might not be thoughts popping up or things that drift through your mind, but even if they do, we're not analyzing them. We're not going, what's this? What's that happening? How do I do this? How do I do that? What's happening next? So we're not judging our thoughts. We're not labeling our thoughts. Because the moment we label a thought, oh, that's a bad idea, that's a good idea, we attach ourselves to it. We're either thinking in the past or in the future. And we don't control, we don't try to make anything happen. Like with meditation, you're not trying to meditate. You don't do meditation. The moment you're doing meditation, you're not meditating. So we don't control. There is nothing to do in that moment, nothing to make happen. Literally position yourself now. So no recalling, no thinking of the past, no imagining and thinking about the future. Just not thinking, letting go of even what's happening now. So, I could be sitting here thinking, well, a plant needs watering, and which is both being here and now and imagining a future because I'm thinking about watering a plant. Looks like that thing's moved on the shelf. Need to rearrange those books. Need to read that one and give it back to the vicar. All those, all those kind of things are thoughts of now. But this gives you permission to go stop. I'm still aware of the plant, but I'm not saying it needs watering. I'm not thinking about the plant other than just I'm aware of it. I'm not labeling it, I'm describing it. I'm literally just sitting with it. So position, sit, do not recall, let go of the past. Do not imagine, let go of the future. Don't think, let go of now. And don't control. Don't try and make anything happen. Just sit, relax, and let yourself settle. And in that process, just close your eyes because once you close your eyes, it's easier to not be so in the now anyway, holding on into the now, because if you're not seeing what's out there, you can't be thinking about what's out there. So step one, stop. Step two, letting go, positioning now. Allow your eyes to close and allow yourself just to breathe deeply and just release all that stuff, the thoughts, all the should be, shouldn't be's, this now, that now. In that moment, you're literally just so. We're going to have a go at this. We're going to be doing something in a moment, although I know that's slightly contrived because I'm saying do something, but it means you're still doing something. So you're doing stuff, you're moving stuff about, you're moving your hands, tapping your hands, whatever you're doing. Create that stop moment. Stop. Return to that stillness. Stop doing, stop thinking, stop. And just take 3 nice deep breaths. Then let go of the thoughts of the past and the future. Don't analyze, look at, or examine what is around you. Just allow your eyes to close and just settle in to that stillness, to that stop, to that moment. Let's give it a go. Find something for your hands, or for yourself to be doing, and just run it in your own time. Just run it in your own time. We'll have a few moments of this. I'm going to do it too, because it's nice to join in with everyone. And then just bring yourself back. Start doing and being again as you start to focus on what we're talking about and the session again. Wonderful. So we have stop, position, let go. Nice, slow, comfortable, not forced deep breathing. If you're going, and being all dramatic and deep and slow breathing, that's never going to help you. So just natural deep breathing. And I know I've said this before, but one of the easiest ways to establish a nice natural deep breath is just to slow it down a bit and imagine that you're breathing all the way into the tips of your toes and then all the way back out. And that'll naturally just increase the depth of your breath. Again, you don't want anything to feel forced. So the next step, three steps so far, is to begin to sense, to become aware. And how are we going to do this? Well, what we're going to do, you've done your stop, you've done your just being in the moment. And hopefully, if you've just had a go at that, you'll notice actually how it starts creating that stillness. It's the same kind of stillness that people talk about. If you people talk about kind of moments in prayer when they just go into quietness and just there's that beautiful crisp clarity in the moment, and but all is still, there's nothing, it's just or people in meditations or different practices like with drumming and things where they suddenly hit this place and it's just um so we're going to tune into the body. And obviously, at any one moment, there are a lot of things going on in and around our bodies. We're not interested in what's going on around. We're literally just interested in sensations within our body. So you've done your stop. You've positioned yourself, so you're not thinking past or future or now. You're not controlling. You're not doing anything. You're just allowing the moment. Then we tune into something within our bodies. So it might literally and make it something tangible. So maybe it's the sensation of the your foot on the floor, or like my right hand's a bit warmer than the left there. So maybe I focus just in on that sensation in the right hand. And we're just going to focus our full attention on it. So we're just going to watch it. We're going to observe it. We're not going to label it by going, oh, I got pins and needles, or my hands tingling, or my elbows pressed against the chair, or whatever it is. We're literally going to um, label it in no more than I feel. So I'll use the right hand because that's one that pops to mind. I feel warmth now, and that's it. And then we stay present, we stay focused on it. We don't judge it. We don't go, oh yeah, and that's a nice feeling, or that's a bad feeling, or this is a good thing, that's a bad thing. We just acknowledge. You can either acknowledge what you're feeling, what you're seeing, or what you're hearing. So if you'll get, it might be an image or something that appears in your mind if you're more visual, and so you can be. I'm gonna say hills. Imagine hills pop into your head. So I see hills. We don't judge it. We don't form an opinion on it. We just go, I see hills. Or it might be here. It might be you start because you're going quieter and stilling yourself that you maybe hear an inner dialogue. So I hear an inner dialogue now. Again, don't judge it. Don't engage with it. Just acknowledge the fact that you're hearing it. Do not judge anything. And once you've done that for a little while, once you've done that for a little while, expand it out. So find something else to also be aware of. So warm hand, foot on the floor. I feel my foot on the floor. I feel my warm hand. I see colors. I hear myself telling me what the next step is. So you start labeling, but with no interpretation, no attachment, no description, no judging, no interpreting. Literally, it's this, it's that. In the same way as go, it's a cup, it's a mouse, it's a phone, but I'm not going to be thinking, oh, and it's my phone and it's nice. I'm just going to go, it's a phone. So we're focusing on those inner sensations. Start with one. Once you've done that, sit with it for a bit and then move into a couple of sensations and just keep expanding those sensations out. And there's a couple of questions we'll ask ourselves. Where does that come from? Where does that come from? What's it made of? And I'll talk us through this in a moment. And then the final part, and this is the most involved part of it, really. The final part of this step, this stage, is to then notice that part of you that's observing it all. Become aware of that part of you that is observing everything. So we'll go through that. I'm going to talk you through it this time because I appreciate there's quite a bit in that third section. So get doing something, be doing something, just be rocking in your chair, moving, tapping your hands, moving your hands, nodding your head. Debbie's playing with her hair. That's it. So everyone's doing something. Okay. And in a moment, I will talk us through those stages. So I'll say the stop, I'll guide us into the breath and take you through it. So you get a feel of it all put together. So keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, and stop. Just put down anything you're doing. Yeah. Become still. Just stop. Do not think. Do not do. Just for a moment. And take just 3 deep breaths. And you can let go of the past. Let go of the future. Let go of now. Do not think. Don't try to work things out. Do not try to control anything. Just relax. Let it settle. Breathing slowly and deeply, allow your eyes to close. Just release that stuff. And as you release that stuff, you can become aware of a sensation, a current sensation somewhere within your body. Now, I don't know where or what that sensation is for you, but I invite you to focus fully on it. Observe it. Don't analyze, don't label it. Just say to yourself, I feel now. I see now, I hear now, whatever that sensation, that activity within the body is. Just stay present with it. Do not judge anything. And as you're sat there, stopping, you're aware of that sensation. I wonder what another sensation you can also become aware of is now. Again, as you become aware of it, don't judge it. Don't label it. Just say, I feel now, or I see now, or I hear now, or even I taste now. Whatever that inner experience is. And maybe you can become aware of other sensations. Again, without judging, just observing. I hear, I see, I feel. Without a need to consciously answer, ask yourself, where does it come from? What is that made of? And you can begin to notice that part of you that is observing it all. Becoming even more aware of that observer within you than a moment or two ago. I wonder just how aware of the observer within you can become now. And just quietly state to yourself, I am entering into presence, into the moment, to be in the awareness of all that is. I am entering into presence, into the moment, to be in the awareness of all that is. I am entering into presence, into the moment, to be in the awareness of all that is. And just be there now. the peace of the moment, stillness of the moment, to refresh you, to revitalize, to ground. And you can sit and be still, can you not? Observe and listen, can you not? Follow steps, can you not? And discover that you find it natural and easy to follow these steps into that stillness and peace anytime you practice and anytime you choose. That's right. Then when you're ready to return, come back feeling relaxed, refreshed, grounded, you just think of doing something, moving a toe or moving a foot, or maybe what you have to do tomorrow or what you did yesterday. And before too long, you just find yourself just emerging back out, coming back from that place. Bringing those senses, those feelings, and all that back with you now, this time, this moment. And then when you're ready to, just have a fidget. Be here, be now, feel good. And so whilst you're coming back from that, let's just recap. Very simple process. Takes longer to explain. Once you've done it a few times, you can find this easy now. First step, stop. Second step, don't think of the past, don't think about the future, don't think about what's going on now, don't try to control it, just allow everything to be now. Third step, your eyes are closed, you're breathing slow. Let's just pick a sensation, just one thing to focus on. Could be anything. One thing within you. Focus on it, observe it. And as you've done that, expand that out to something else and something else till you've got half a dozen different sensations you're being aware of within you, and ask yourself, where's it come from? What's it made of? Just observe, see what happens, and as you're observing, just become aware of that part of you that observes, the observer that watches. And then once you've shifted to that awareness, you can just set an intent. I'm entering into stillness and quiet to hear the deep wisdom of my soul, or whatever your intent is in that moment. So that ends the session today. I'll stop the recording.